Live. And we are live. Welcome to Indie Comics and Reviews. Tonight, we have Eric Weathers, man known for lettering virtually everything. And,
Busiest fan of Comicsgate.
And tonight known for Battle Brick Road, which is a book of his that we are going to discuss. Anything you want to like maybe like anybody in our audience who hasn't met you, Eric? Do you want to introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about who you are and
sure.
And,
For anybody that may not know, my name is Eric Weathers. I am letterer in chief of Comicsgate. You can find my words graced upon many books like Jawbreakers and Graveyard Shift, the new Cyberfrog Unforgettable Tales, Downcast, Monster MD. The list goes on and on and on, and I'm forgetting and not listing dozens at this point. But there's a good chance if the book's been made, it's got CG on the label.
At this point, wouldn't it be easier to just name the books you didn't letter?
It might be easier, yeah.
Right.
See, Six Gun Gorilla.
Seriously, hardest working man in Comicsgate, without a doubt.
I stay
James
busy. That's
Brown.
for sure.
You're the James Brown of Comicsgate, my friend.
Thank you.
One of the good example of what CG is supposed to be about, being all in and just doing the work.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Coach says grab an oar, and I think I've grabbed a few at this point. As weird as that sounds to say, but
you've grabbed all of them basically. You're
basically
like an entire galleon.
Yeah, it's all me. I've got 8 arms just going. Yeah,
that's
unreal.
It's got to feel pretty good to be involved in so many projects that people are aware of.
Yep,
it's nice. I mean, you get your name out there, and that's always a plus. It helps with the campaigns because people know who I am. I don't get the excitement of getting to read the book for the first time. Getting it in the mail and doing that whole thing. I don't get that, but unless it's a book I haven't worked on.
I think it's a fun experience to be part of a book that it's not yours, because you feel like you're part of a team. You're helping somebody succeed.
There's a lot of joy in being able to take somebody's artwork, a writer, an artist, and they've been poring over these pages for months, and the artist has been making their page layouts and their panels, and the colorist, and everybody's looking at it through the process. Hey, oh, we just got the letters in here, or we just got the colors in here. Take a look at the page. Then it gets to me, and they get to see their book as a real comic book for the first time, and that's always fun to be able to give that to the people that are part of the team. It's always fun.
It's one of the points that I was telling Steve, the editor of Bloodhunt, when you gave me the print file. It was so weird. Like, you've been working on it like page by page for so long that to see everything laid out in page format side by side, it's there's a part of it that's like satisfying and surprising. It's like you've been on it for so long that it's weird to just see everything online and you're like, everything works.
Yeah, it's a real comic then.
That's something that I experienced this. I letter my own comic, but so no offense that I don't hire Eric. I just happen to do my own lettering since I've been doing graphic design for
that's
20 plus years. So but the one thing that I wonder, like, because with me, when I letter, I tend to I give myself a lot of flexibility because I wrote the comic. You know what I mean? So like I'll maybe not like the way a certain line lays out. I might rephrase it so that it lays better.
There are times when I will make suggestions perhaps to the editor or the writer saying, hey, this isn't fitting. There's way too much dialogue for this panel. And even if I move some of it to the previous panel, it's too much. We might need to cut this down. What if I rearrange this balloon to say it this way so it fits better? That kind of stuff can happen.
You get to basically do the same thing, just as
right.
There's a little bit of editorial hat that goes on the writer.
A tiny bit, but I'm not the final say. Ultimately, I'm just sort of nudging them in a certain direction, saying, "Hey, what if we tried this?" And if they don't want it changed, then
And one thing I like to add to is Eric is one of the guys that do lettering, but also apply the storytelling within the lettering. Changing the letters, changing fonts, making a color blue up with colors. And it's something that I like a lot, that I also apply and make sure that my letterer do too.
Yeah, it's a pretty, I would say, a pretty 90s style of lettering, and having it 80s and 90s style, having it where it's not just straightforward. Now, some books just call for it to be straightforward. Some people don't want any, for instance, any words bolded. They just want it straightforward, no frills, and I can do that just fine. But some people want it, like, for instance, when I'm lettering Graveyard Shift, it's a whole lot of stuff, whole lot of make this bigger, and let's make it it's bigger and more exciting. And the same way with like Monster MD, and it kind of plays with, you kind of play off of the story itself and where it feels like it might fit. And sometimes, you just throw something out there and see if they like it, because, I'll send proofs and say, hey, here's pages 5 through 10. And maybe I try a little something extra, put a little extra flair on something. And, if they like it, if they don't.
Growth comes from experimenting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a lot of experimenting. I did a lot of that on Jawbreakers and Graveyard Shift, just because they wanted that 90s style. John in particular wanted it for sure. He wanted to spawn Tom Ozakowski style lettering. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I actually I like that style lettering. I definitely agree with you that it depends on the project, because it's like, okay, like for instance, I don't know if you've read Captain Love, but like in my book, I feel as though it's like very heavy metal magazine kind of feel, very, not even 90s. We're talking like late 80s, early 80s, 70s kind of feel. You know what I mean? So like for me, it's got to be straightforward. We can have a bolted weird here and there, but we can't overdo the bolding. Got to just be, straightforward. And it's got to look traditional, or it just doesn't look right. You know what I mean?
Right.
However, I love reading Saga. And I don't know if you've read Saga or checked out Saga, but every different species has a different way of lettering to define who they are. And
I have Saga. I picked it up for research, and I don't think I've cracked it. I've got the first 2 or 3 volumes. Yeah, I haven't really cracked it open yet. Sometimes you just get a book, you're like, oh, I've heard about this, and then it just sits on the shelf, and you don't get to it right away. That's when one of those books that's been like that for me.
Everybody should heard about it. It's the best-selling graphic novel in the second best selling graphic novel in the country.
I bought the first 4 TPBs. I read the first one. I never read the other ones. Then now my girl has it. Has them.
It is a little bit more. It is a little bit more friendly to a female audience, I think. But the first book is, I would say, the first book is really kind of universal, like male and female friendly. And then as it progresses, I would say that there's the elements that attract men versus female comics. If you go to like the whole psychological, and you're just stereotyping people in there because everybody's outliers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just go to the
stereotypes too.
Yeah. It's a lot about relationships. It's a lot about family event related stuff. You know what I mean? Versus overcoming great hurdles. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's,
yeah,
it's not as heroic or as it's a survival series. You know what I mean? So.
Oh well, my 14-year-old loves it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
No,
well, I can crack it open.
We're not here to pitch Saga.
That's what yeah. What are we talking about Saga for?
We're here to talk about Battle Brick Road.
You brought it up.
Brian K. Vaughan doesn't need any help. Battle Brick Road. Hey, I know that book. I think I'm lettering that one.
I would hope so. It's like the one book that you don't letter is yours.
Yeah, I'm gonna hire out.
What? You're not hiring a letterer for your books?
No, I don't. I if it does well enough, maybe I'll give him a bonus. So Battle Brick Road, Operation Zephyr is the first book of a 4-book series that being put together by myself and writer Zeb Hatfield. He's a friend of mine that I came to him with this idea of, wouldn't it be cool if we gave the characters of Wizard of Oz, we gave them guns and made them each a member of a squad. And because I had originally had this idea sort of like a video game concept art, because I was learning concept art and wanted to do digital painting and stuff like that. And I pitched him this idea because I thought, this is going to maybe make a better story as a comic than it would as just some concept art paintings. So I pitched him this idea, and he said he loved it. And, we just sort of kicked it off from there. He took my small idea and really fleshed it out, really made it sing. So we tell the story of Thea Gale, who loses her father at a very young age, and he's taken from her. And so she spends most of her adult life looking for him, and to no avail. She even joins the army thinking that she might be able to get some other resources to help her on this quest, and it just doesn't work out for her. And then one day, out of the blue, a message is received from the sands, from the Great American Desert. This land that they thought was lost, or maybe is now a myth, nobody knows. They get this message, and it's her dad, and he says, "Dorothy, I'm here. Here are the coordinates where you can find this land, and when you get here, find the Yellow Brick Road and follow it, and you'll find me." And so that's everything she wanted out of life, is to find her dad, and she finally gets a chance to do it. So
her, instead of looking for the wizard, she's looking for her dad.
right, and I will say this: her dad is not the wizard, so it's not as cut and dry as that. So we are taking inspiration from the Wizard of Oz, not necessarily straight copying, A to B or whatever.
That's pretty cool, though. I like it, though, that you get to really exploit the whole flying monkeys thing. That's cool.
Yeah. So the monkeys on the cover there, they are part of a creation by the Wicked Witch, our version of the Wicked Witch, called the Watcher of the West. And Oz was created by this Elon Musk, billionaire, trillionaire philanthropist, Tony Stark kind of guy, and he gave control of this land, of this Oz creation, to these 4 AIs, and each one controls a different sector: the north, east, south, and west. And the north and the south are still good, and they help the people that live there and sort of shepherd them in good ways. And the east went totalitarian, and the west just wants everything. And that's why the once utopia has fallen into a war zone. And that's where Dorothy finds herself, is she's heard story about this place, but nobody's been able to find it for years. And when she arrives, it's been torn apart.
Oh. So that is pretty cool. I'm just kind of like wondering, like in my mind, I'm all okay. So there's a scarecrow, there's the lion, there's So I got to know about these characters. Let's see here. Is there some visual reference?
Yeah. So if you scroll down a little bit, there are some character designs. Scarecrow is the one that you will meet in this crew in the first book. The other 2 show up. So the first book is going to be the journey, the discovery, the setting up the story.
Who's the Scarecrow here?
That's Scarecrow there. So he's hell-bent on revenge, and you'll find out why. But he's hell-bent on revenge against the Watcher of the West. And so he has sort of been off in the shadows, up in the hills, sort of doing covert operations against the Watcher of the West to sort of try and get back at her for what she did to him. And he stumbled across Dorothy, or she stumbles across him in the story, and they decide that they would do more. They would benefit more from each other than if they were to just go their own separate ways. So we will get to see them team up in this book, along with Toto, of course. And you scroll down, there's another photo of another drawing of Scarecrow. Sweet. In a bit of a Scarecrow pose with the rifle slung over his shoulders.
Oh, that's clever.
That was cool.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah, so he wears the mask, and he wears the full suit for a reason, and that'll also be you'll figure that out as the story.
Is he looking for a brain though?
No, not necessarily. We're not doing it, is, like I said, not as cut and dry as I need a heart, I need a brain, I need a courage. Our characters do have similar goals, but I'd say it's more deep than that. It's he's had something taken from him, and he's trying to get it back, or at least get revenge for that which was taken from him.
Would that be a piece of his brain? I'm just spitballing there,
but no. But the Tin Man is a which you can scroll down. Now these are somewhat older designs here. I think just past this one. There's Dorothy right there. This was the first drawing we did back in 2018, sort of as a teaser for the book. Tin Man and Lion have changed the most off of these character designs. So Tin Man is a former wood cutting unit in Oz. They made these robots that would sort of service things that humans didn't have to do because they were, it's like all the robots in WALL-E taking care of everything. And he was a woodcutter, and through happenstance, he kind of gains a sentience. And we meet him sort of like figuring out, like, what is this life thing? What's it mean to be alive? But at the same time, he has a history because they used these robots for warfare as well. So he and the Scarecrow have a history, or his kind and the Scarecrow have a history. They would have been mortal enemies at one point.
Okay.
And the Lion is a genetically modified creature. Again, the Witcher of the West was dealing with these genetic modifications, and he is one of her greatest creations. And instead of being the great warrior that he would have been in the big battle, he decided he didn't want to, and he hung it up and said, I'm not going to fight anymore. And not out of fear, but out of, well, you'll see. He's not a coward per se. I wouldn't say that. He's just, he's got issues.
Let's say hi to the people in the chat real fast. We got
Yeah.
Rooster Puncher. I see Sim posting links. We
Nice,
got
nice.
Wiggle Wiggle. We got Lothar D. Hail, brothers. Great to see you here. Welcome. Please enjoy the show.
Hail
called
to
multitasking,
everybody
brother.
in the chat.
Hello.
Yeah, right. Like when I was a kid, there'd be like horror movies on like 2 or 3 channels Friday nights, and I just go flick, 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 flick,
Yeah.
flick.
And the commercial came on, you went to the next one.
Yeah. This looks great, though.
Thank you. Thank you.
It looks completely bonkers in like a really wonderful way.
Well, that's what we're going for. We're going for it's set in like 2060, 2070. So it's got the sci-fi bend to it. It's got the genetically modified creature bend to it, and we hope
Nice.
the Wizard of Oz is very magical and sort of candy coated, and we stripped all of that away and sort of gave it this gristle. And but still, I think the way that Zeb has written it, there's still a lot of heart to it, a lot of character depth, and I'm really, really excited with the way this script's turning out, with the way the artwor's turning out.
And
I like the concept, but I like the title even better.
You're drawing this, right, Eric?
It's
Yes, yes, I am the artist on this. So everything you see on here is drawn by me. So it's nice to be able to show people that I can do more than letter.
Who's coloring it?
great. Considerably.
Yeah, Farah Normaliza is coloring. She didn't color this particular piece you're on. That was Brian Magny. He colored Ravage back in the day.
Okay.
Another book I lettered. He colored that for me. That was 2 years ago. But the artwork style we're going for in the book is a pencil with colors, no inking, and I had to find the right colorist that could pull it off. And I'd seen Farah's work on Door Kickers, and Scott was like, "You should give her a shot. Send her a page. She'll do a test page for you." Scott McCullough of Door Kickers, and I said, all right. So I sent her the page that is up one from there.
It's the same colorist that's doing Super Harem, right? Farah?
Is she doing Superhero? Okay.
Yeah.
I knew she has a full list on her plate too. Like I'm joking and calling her the Eric Weathers of coloring now, because she's just on so many different projects. So
Well, that's
yeah,
the thing. People see that you have skills. People see that you have talent, and so then next thing you know, everybody wants you on their book.
Yeah, I know.
I've been called the Eric Weather of illustrations, dude.
Yeah.
Oh man, this looks great. This looks fantastic. How many pages is the first book going to be?
Oh, the first book will be 52 plus pages. As I'm laying it out, I'm like, this would be, I'm staying true to Zeb's script, but at the same time, he's like, if you see something needs changed, well, let's if it's going to make it better, let's do it. So in one case, a full page spread needs to be a double page spread. I feel like it has more impact that way, just with what we're going for. So that pushed it by a page, and then I'm working on I had originally had it laid out with an older version of the script that's been changed. So I'm going through, and now I'm finishing up the layouts again on the last half of the book. And I'm thinking, we'll see, but at least 53 pages now, plus some stuff in the back. But a lot of the extra stuff will be in the supplemental book, which is what we are calling what are we calling it? The Unsealed Files of Operation Zephyr, which was the original title of the book, was Operation Zephyr. We changed the name about, 6 months ago to Battle Brick Road after much deliberation.
Excellent choice.
Yeah. Most
choice.
people were happy with the change. There were some that were like,
cool.
"Oh, I like Operation Zephyr better." But you know what? Now you get both because the title of the first book is Operation Zephyr. So, but yeah, we have the supplemental book, which will have the original ash can. And gosh dang it, I grabbed it today. Oh, here it is. Because I've been talking about it on other streams and I don't have it with me. So let me take off my that there. So this was an ash can that Zev and I did in 2018, and it's just a little 5-page story. Sure.
That's a collectible.
As you can see, that's the old title.
Operation Zephyr.
And the old cover. This is an ash page we did.
I remember the first time you talked about it, you were still using that name. That's why I really like the way the title that you changed, Battle Brick Road. Really awesome.
So this will be in the supplemental book, where this is inked, where I'm going to get it colored, so you'll see it in its full glory. We're also going to have a lot of this sort of backup sketch, behind the scenes stuff, character designs, this kind of stuff. I have a lot more in different sketchbooks and iPad files and stuff like that.
I love that crap.
I know. It's so cool to look at just people's processes.
Yep. Absolutely, and like the way the characters originally looked, and then how they were changed, and how they evolved. Fantastic.
So we're going to have that. And we're going to have an hopefully extensive fan art section as well. So, that's going to be a definite pickup for the ultimate Battle Brick Road fan. You want to get the tier that has the supplemental book, or add it as an add-on to whatever tier you want. But those are the two big items for the two meaty items of the campaign.
Your campaign, you've only been open like a little bit over 10 days?
About 10 days. I think Friday will be 2 weeks. So
you're coming up on $30,000 already pretty soon here. Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you. And I did.
I guess it does pay off to letter everybody's book.
I guess so.
People know that you're reliable. And
that's true.
That counts for a lot, especially in a small pond like this. Word gets around.
Yeah, that is really awesome. I mean, it's awesome to see that. I mean, the book looks great. It's a great concept. But I mean, there's a lot of great concept books that aren't doing that well. So it's really great to see somebody actually, succeeding with their book. It really does.
Thank you.
Always. And I just love the fact that you've got the flying monkeys on the cover, because the flying monkeys in The Wizard of Oz were the stuff of nightmares for so many generations of people. They never scared me, but I guess I was kind of hardened already from watching horror movies. But oh my God, traumatized so many people.
I've heard that. A lot of people saying that they had nightmares of those things, and they were creepy looking. But
now, is it weird? Is it weird that of all the Wizard of Oz characters, the ones that I actually associated with were the flying monkeys?
Not so much. Different strokes for folks.
Maybe.
Have you guys ever?
Until you see our version, and then we'll see what that looks like.
It probably may not the same kind of association.
Probably not. No.
I don't know if I don't know if you fellows have ever seen Return to Oz.
Oh yeah,
right. Which is like an awesome movie.
That's basically a horror movie.
It is. It's a really dark fantasy. Yeah, it is almost like a horror film. Yeah. Wonderful, folks. Check that out if you haven't seen it, because it was produced by Disney, and it's not a sequel to like the original Wizard of Oz. It's just it's another adaptation of one of the L. Frank Baum novels, and it's wild.
Most of the fairy tales started as a horror, and they just got tweaked up a little bit. It's like Red Riding Hood.
Yeah,
I know.
The Brothers Grimm. They collected a lot of what was horror tales that were fairy tales.
It was their version of Stranger Danger. All of those
Yep.
stories are stay away from people.
Like we, you
Yeah.
know,
Red
we all
Riding
wanted
Hood's-
to. We all wanted to do our own take of a fairy tale. On me was the, I wanted to do a sequel to the original Red Riding Hood
Hmm.
because
Uh-huh.
it was way fucking darker. And
Yeah,
I'm like, imagine if the little girl survived and own that werewolf type of guy. And
that would
Yeah.
be awesome.
That would be
Cinderella
awesome.
is the goriest of them all. They start cutting off like stepsisters, evil stepsisters start cutting off like their toes. And
Yeah,
their,
spit in the shoe.
it's
Yeah.
something I wrote when I was in university doing the screenplay things.
oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Well, there's
Well,
another
I might
let's,
go to it.
another project to it that people can look forward to.
before we go
Hmm.
through your tiers, let's give this video a watch.
Sure.
Oh hell yeah!
Thea Gale has grown up in a world brought to its knees by drought and monstrous dust storms. Now, a message from her long-lost father will set her on a path through an exotic land. Along with her trusty sidekick Toto, she must befriend a ragtag group of outcasts to endure the many challenges along the way. Battlebrick Road Operation Zephyr is a 52-page graphic novel in the first volume in a 4-part series. From artificial intelligence to genetic manipulation, Battlebrick Road brings an original and multi-layered story to the familiar backdrop of Oz. Back it today and help bring to life this apocalyptically fresh take on the classic American fairy tale. Only on Indiegogo.
Sweet.
Sweet.
Short and
Very
sweet to the
sweet.
point.
Short,
Yeah.
short.
So
and sweet.
this one's going to be 52 pages,
Yeah.
right?
52
Are
pages
you have
of story.
any growth on the stretch goals or anything like that?
Well, in a way, yes. At 50, so it's a big ask, but at 50, we have I have tapped 6 a.m. Comics to do an 8-page Ashcan add-on that will tie into the main story, a little Toto side quest, if you will.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Mark Marianelli, who is
Yep.
a huge fan of the show. And a
Yeah,
friend of
Mark
the show.
Marinelli.
We're a huge fan of him.
Fantastic.
Yes.
And might I just say the best rapper in CG.
Yep.
He spits fire.
does.
That's without a doubt, and he put Fraga on notice. That's
He
Oh,
for
did.
yeah.
He did.
damn sure.
He
he
nailed it.
he definitely has skills.
He has
has great
attitude.
skills.
Like, dude, he has flow and he has attitude. I'm sorry, but that's a must when you're doing rap.
And he's ruthless too. And he's ruthless.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't hold back at all. He'll go right for your jugular vein or your carotid artery.
Yeah.
What's up, George?
He wants to know what the bricks are worth and where do they exchange them for Wakandian coin.
Well, they're not
Oh, we love the
gold.
Blue Muppet.
Our Yellow Brick Road is a bit different. A lot of what we're doing is maybe different ways to reveal things you're familiar with that may not be what you expect. Maybe we're trying to subvert expectations. But it's not just a road that necessarily anybody can follow. I don't want to give too much away, but let's. The Emerald City is not.
Don't.
I won't. I can't say anymore. Let's
That's
just,
what I said,
it's not your grandmother's Yellow Brick Road.
So nothing to see. Let's move along.
Yeah, there's no skipping. There's
Well-
definitely no skipping.
Well,
There's
there's
a lot of shell casings and blood. along
these
that
are iconic things. You know what I mean? The City of Gold, the Dark Tower. These are things that have been with us in mythology and folklore and storytelling since it all began. You know, great Jungian archetypes.
That's true. And I feel like what Zeb has done here is sort of take cue from those things. So, we have that Dark Tower-esque ideal. We have that with the Emerald City. We even have it a little bit with the Munchkin Land. And again, you'll see it's not Munchkins, but you'll see what we do with it. So
Warrior dwarves.
once you see the design of the Watcher of the East, you'll maybe understand why it's called the Munchkin, why they're called Munchkins. So
Hail metal
They're
movies.
carnivores.
They go right for your knees. They go right for your knees.
yeah, they're all cotton from King of the Hill. Yeah,
they give a new meaning to the word kneecapped.
that's
Yep.
right.
Exactly.
Just cut them off at the knees and put shoes on them. They're good to go.
Yep. Oh man, this looks great. How many books? I mean, do you have a plan for how many books you're going to do in this series?
Yeah.
Or okay,
Yeah, there's a plan. There's going to be 4 books total in the series. One for each watcher, one for each main character, excluding Toto, because Dorothy and Toto sort of go hand in hand.
Mhm.
That idea of the 4, I think, works symbolically. I keep thinking symbolism. The word you're looking for is symbolism from
Yeah.
Boondock Saints. So we're going with the 4. So there's going to be a lot of that, in the design. There's going to be 4 different sort of banners for the watchers. There's the 4 archetypes of these characters. There's 4 books. There's a lot of that. So the story is going to be 4 books. It's going to be broken up roughly 2 chapters per book. So 8 chapters in total. So a little over 200 pages. We're looking at 200 plus pages. So
nice.
yeah, at least
folks-
things can change as you go down the road. But he's written. We have the first full 4 chapters written completely in treatments for where those will go and lead into the whole overarching story.
Very cool.
Awesome. And folks, don't wait for the omnibus edition.
No.
Get on this now, because there's some cool perks, and definitely the ash can is going to be
No,
the
don't wait for-
supplemental.
Obviously, don't wait for the omnibus, because if you don't buy the singles, there's no omnibus.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's right.
That's what I try to tell people.
Yeah. Brian mentioned stretch goals. Are we going to go into that now, or I don't know the format
Well,
here?
I was gonna hit the stretch goals after the tiers. Actually.
Okay, well let's
Let's hit
if
the
we're doing
tiers.
tiers, let's do tiers.
Yeah.
Most
so
definitely.
your first tier here is Battle Brick Road supplemental for 50. And that looks like it's the Battle Brick Road book, the fold out poster, and the supplemental that you showed us.
Yeah. And I will say this, every book will come signed by both myself and Zeb Hatfield. We live in the same town. So we'll both be signing. We will both be packaging and shipping. So fulfillment shouldn't take as long, with all hands on deck. Well, that'll be nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
Very cool. And then obviously the smaller tier is just the book, just the Battle Brick Road itself,
Mhm.
and a fold out poster. So that's nice. So the fold out poster
Yeah.
will also come with that. And then you have 2 copies. This has both Battle Brick Road twice, supplemental book twice, and a fold out poster twice,
Right.
which is excellent. So if somebody is like, say, in the UK, and you have a friend, this is a great buy because you can save on shipping. You
Yep.
guys can split the shipping on that.
Yep. Or if you just have a buddy and you can just split it and save a little bit of money off the top there too.
Yeah.
So
Or if you want to squirrel one away and destroy the other while you read it.
that's right.
And then this is the Battle Brick Road plus the sketch. So we got Battle Brick Road signed by Zeb Hatfield and Eric Weathers with character sketch plate. What is the character sketch plate?
It is a separate drawing, so it'll be roughly this size. This is about half of 8.5 by 11, maybe a tiny bit smaller than this. But instead of it being in the book or on the book, it'll be a separate piece so that people can put it where they want it. They can frame it. They can keep it in the book if they want. If they, just want to know they have it. I had some people, because my original campaign with Flying Fortress, I had done a sketch inside the front cover. And I had some people say, hey, could I get that as a sketch card instead? Because I want to be able to frame it up. And I figured, that's probably a good idea. I want to do that moving forward. And plus, it helps with the pipeline of fulfillment. When my wife and I were getting stuff ready for Flying Fortress, there was like this bottleneck of me like, hold on, I got to finish these, these head sketches. I had like 60 of them I had to do. So that slowed
Right.
things down. So if I can do that, while I'm drawing a page, over the next few months, and then throw it and take a break and do a sketch, and it's done and they're ready to go, and it can just be put in as part of the packaging and fulfillment. It's a lot smoother process that way.
Yeah, especially if they're like a warm-up sketch. You can just do warm-up sketches like galore, and then you can just add those in. That makes a lot of
Exactly.
sense.
Yeah.
So we
Very,
won't let
very
anybody,
badass.
but they're very valuable. They're not just like, something that's just thrown in there.
No. Sketches is probably not a good word for it, but it's the one I used. So, it's not a hours labored over one piece, but it's not done in a couple of minutes.
But it's an original work of art. That's the point.
Yeah, that's the point.
Yeah. I mean, what can you get, as a perk that's cooler than that?
So this is the same thing as that above, but this has the supplemental included.
Yep. Yeah, I mean it's pretty. The tiers are pretty straightforward. They kind of stair step from 25 to 125, but then this is where we kick it up a little bit.
For the super fan.
Super fan, yeah. So the super fan is all the both books, the poster, the sketch, the ash can, which originally was going to be just a super fan thing, but I thought, no, we can't. We got to get everybody that 6 a.m. Comics ash can. So the super fans are going to get something else extra. I haven't figured that out just yet, but it'll be worth it. You're also going to get your name in the book and an exclusive T-shirt that, much like John Malin does with his Graveyard Shift Superfan T-shirt, you get the gold logo with the Graveyard Shift logo. Well, our logo is already gold, so you get the red logo, the blood red logo for Battle Brick Road. Only available this way. Any other Battle Brick Road T-shirt's just going to be the regular logo, yellow. So, and just like John, you know what? If you show up at CG Con in May and you're wearing that shirt, I owe you a beer. I owe you a beer and handshake. Or soda or whatever you're drinking.
So the people are gonna have to like switch shirts. Oh, there's Jarek. Let me switch my shirt real fast.
Yeah.
Well, I'll know. I'll be like, wait a second. There were 2 that claimed the super fan, and now 5 people have come up to my table wearing the same shirt
with the same Jägermeister stain too.
Exactly.
I thought that's the guy had the stain in the same spot. That's weird.
Oh God, the parties are going to be debased.
I know.
Yeah, let's not talk about the armpit stains. Yeah.
Oh boy, especially at a Comic-Con. Yeah.
Right.
Oh God. Oh man, that looks absolutely fantastic, man.
Now, Oz,
who knew that you were such a talented artist?
My mom.
There you go. She encouraged you when you were a boy.
Hey, I had parents that were like, "Hey, you know what? You're good at this. Keep doing it." But no, I appreciate those are kind words. It's nice to hear. I posted the campaign, and now I have people asking me, "Hey, what do you charge for like commissions for character trading cards and stuff?" And I'm like, I haven't had people ask me that before. That's interesting. So that's fun.
Did you draw on
what I
Flying
got into
Fortress,
this for?
Did you illustrate? Did you illustrate on Flying Fortress?
Yeah, I drew the whole book.
Yeah,
Yep.
I thought so. I was like, people should have already known that you draw. I was like,
Well, that artwork's much older too. I mean, if you got the book, you can see page 1 and page 200 are vastly different in terms of competency. I basically learned how to draw comics while creating every one of those books, from writing all the way down to pre-press, and we did everything in between. I handled the majority of those. I did a lot of the heavy lifting. I wasn't doing it all on my own, but early on there was more help. Later on, I kind of shouldered everything. It was a nice learning experience because now, I feel like I have at least some answer or some advice I can give somebody on any sort of part of the process of making comics, because I've done it all. So
It's
that's
one of
been
the
a
things
bonus for me.
it's one of the things I tell people when they say, "How do you get better at drawing?" When do you know you're ready to do a comic? I'm like, you don't.
You don't know.
That you could spend 5 years trying to get good enough, and you won't evolve as much as if you start getting it done. Like start getting those short stories done, then you're gonna see that within 2 weeks you're gonna have evolved like 3 years that you tried not doing it.
Yep.
I tell people that a lot. Like I've had hey, how did you start your book? What advice can you give me? That kind of stuff. And I always say, if you have an idea, find 8 pages out of that story or condense it to 8 pages and just make your book yourself.
Mm-hmm.
See what it takes. Do everything you can on your own, including lettering, including coloring. Try it out and see what it takes so you understand maybe what you're getting yourself into.
And take the feedback and just work on it. Yeah.
Because sometimes a writer can say, this is my grand idea. It is 12 volumes, 12 issues each volume, and it's this grand, fantasy epic with all this lore, and they have these grand things, and they think they're going to hire one artist and to do everything. And once, if they sat down and tried to make 8 pages themselves, I think you understand a little bit more what it takes to make a comic book.
The best advice I ever had from writers was the fact of, just stop trying to write the perfect story, because a lot of people fall into writing the big epic, like a big long story, and they never end up doing nothing. So just write short story that leads to it. That was one of the biggest advice. And the second one was by Michael Turner. And it's finished, not perfect. And it's the basic of what we learn in art. It's like a piece is never actually finished. Like an artist is never finished with it. He abandons it. He goes, okay, it's good to go.
It's true.
Yep. And, it's the same thing for writers. I know so many people that want to write and they don't because they're afraid that they're going to produce crap. I'm like, yeah, you're going to produce crap. Get that crap out of the way. Get that crap out of the way. Just dive in. It's the old Ray Bradbury maxim. Jump off the cliff, build your wings on the way down.
Yeah, that's how I described Flying Fortress, was jumping out of the airplane and grabbing the parachute on the way down.
There it is.
In the book is how I described it, like that, in like the back of the book.
The first one I did was Wolf Dragon in 2009. It came out, people were saying like, it's okay. Like, the story wise, like, they like the story, they like the action and stuff. They're like, you could work on. After that, I pulled out Not the Merc, and that's been my hit since 2012 here in Canada.
Nice.
It's like it's the one that got me picked up, that I've been doing since 2012 to 2016.
That 8-page story might be all you need.
Yeah.
As a writer, as an artist, or whatever, just to show somebody that you got what it takes.
Yep.
And I've been working on that Wolf Dragon for like years before this. Michael Turner told me, just put it out. So I put it out. And then after that, it's kind of like the weight was off my shoulder. So working on Not the Merc, I worked on the first, I think it was 10-page short story introducing the character. And people loved it. And I'm like, out of 10 pages, I had a lineup of like 35 people waiting for me at the Salon du Livre de Montréal, in Quebec City. And people got attached to a character within 10 pages. This is when I learned that sometimes when you try too hard, you're doing shit. Just go with the flow. Just go with the inspiration and try it out.
Yeah.
And if you can, have fun with it. Because if you're having fun, it's going to come across in your work. And that attitude, that spirit of fun, of adventure, that's going to come across. It's going to be infectious.
How many times did you read a comic book and you're like, oh, this is sweet, this is sweet, this is sweet, and you fall on the page, you go, oh, that he wasn't inspired in that one.
Yeah, you can tell. You're like, oh, deadlines were crushing on this one. He just.
But also, you look at something like the collected Frank Miller Daredevil, right? And you look at the very first issue of Daredevil that he did, and you follow him, and you see it's like, okay, this is still basic. It doesn't look like Frank Miller. It looks like it's the Marvel House style, right?
Yeah.
Which was, I think, pretty much John Buscema at the time. And you see that evolution. There you go. And you see him getting better and better and better and better. Then you see, like, when you could tell that he had discovered Japanese comics, and he starts throwing ninjas in there. And that's always an exciting process for somebody like me that can't draw a straight line with a ruler, because I will tell you what the big secret that most of we comic writers have is the reason why we write comics is because we can't draw them. And we've tried. I used to have, when I was a kid, I had that copy of How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way tucked under my arm. And
I think it also goes with the fact that, we each have our passions, right? Your passion has always been more of the verbal storytelling, like the way of playing with words, the crafting of words and sentences. While me, it's visual storytelling, right? So it's one of the reasons why like they say that an artist doesn't need a writer to do a comic, but it will help making it better because wizard of the craft, right? I'm a master of mine, and you get somebody that's a master of his. It will help make your thing.
Absolutely.
That's why I went with Zeb. That's why Vaughn and I are tinkering on something, because I know that these guys can write better than I can. Like I can pitch a cool idea. I
Yep.
can maybe amp up the action in spots or like have I know storytelling, I know pacing and page turn and all of that. I know those ins and outs.
Yeah,
But when
and
it
it's
comes
what it's
to
and that's-
crafting the words and the plot and
Yeah.
the ins and outs, it's like I need a little bit of help with that. So
Well, and it's also
Damn that
important
English
for your
language.
artist, but it's also important for your writer to trust his artist and
That's
to
true.
understand that you guys see things on the page that we might not see, you know,
And-
or at least we're not going to be able to pick them up or perceive them with our conscious minds,
Mhm.
Yeah.
but we can pick it up with our subconscious minds. You know, like we could look at something and be like, there's something wrong about that, but I can't put my finger on it.
Mhm.
You guys could actually put your fingers on it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Mhm.
I like to put my fingers on things quite often. So
Me too.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
the reason why me and Preston we recruited Brian to be the co-writer of the Blood Hunt and Doc
Oh,
Salem
okay.
crossover.
I am chuffed. I'm excited at the prospect and honored, deeply, deeply honored.
Dude, you're a good writer.
Thanks, brother. Thanks. You guys are amazing artists, so looking forward to that. Needless to say, that's gonna be fun.
Dude, I know that just having you on board, it's just gonna bring it up a notch. Like there's no losing
you.
to it.
You're too kind, sir. You're too kind, but I appreciate that. I'm just happy to be included. Like I said, I feel like that guy at the bar that where the hot chick is giving him the hairy eyeball, and I'm like, me?
Looking behind you, like what?
Yeah, exactly.
You're talking to
Yeah.
me?
Yeah, but I'm not going to say no, man. I'm not going to say no. I'm psyched. I'm
Hey,
psyched.
how do you
You
think I
have
ended up
to-
on everybody's books as a literate? I just didn't say no.
Yeah.
I didn't turn it down.
Well, that's another thing too. Is like when I do a book, I always do what I call my ghetto lettering, right? Which is to say, I'll take the pages in GIMP, and which is like a free version of Photoshop, basically, and I'll create my own little word bubbles, and that's just to get an idea of how it's going to look. How on the page, because I don't want my artist's beautiful art like crowded by too much dialogue, too much narration. It gives me an idea of how it's going to look on the page. But then I go to a professional, right, and have them do it, because they're going to know where to put everything, and it ends up just looking fantastic.
Me, I have it's like a similar approach when I write, because it's like a mix from what I've learned in comics and what I've learned from going to study like movie making. So when I write, I never just write a full script. Like I used to write, like trying to write a story like a book, and then break it down. But what I've learned with time is the fact that I plot it out. It's like a mix of like the Marvel way and the movie way, right? So
Like a scriptment, I call it.
So yeah, so I do I have my main plot, then I start doing my post-it approach, meaning what would be cool, what's my money shot, what's important for the story, is there that this, then you start weaving it, right? Then you have an idea, but while I do that, I storyboard the thing. Like I cannot write without storyboarding. It just brings the magic to me. So
Yeah.
I build it around it.
Do you use a program for storyboarding? Because I'm thinking like I would love to be able to find something that would be better for the artists I'm working with than my like horrible stick figures.
Actually, I that's a process that I like to do traditionally. To be honest, I like to write with pencil and doodle. My storyboard on pencil. I have like a pad just for that. But Clip
as far as-
Studio Paint is good for all of that, dude.
Yeah, and if you want is something like Clip Studio is good, but if you want something that like is all encompassing for scripts and comic books and all that kind of stuff, there is that software online. It's called Celtix, CLTX. It's you can that's really good. I use it for writing scripts, movie scripts, but they also have a comic book script format, and it has a storyboarding element built into it.
And heads up to anybody thinking of buying Clip Studio Paint, wait. Twice a year they make a 50% off special, so you can even buy, like me, I bought the deluxe edition that comes with the 2D animation program and 3D. So
Very cool.
wait, twice a year they do the same special.
That's how I got mine.
Excellent. Yeah, it's always good to find software that can maybe expedite the process.
And way cheaper than Photoshop.
and also F Adobe, because man, it's like even after buying their products, I still haven't been able to access certain products because they of the copy protection. But like that's how overzealous it is. So
Mhm.
Oh wow.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a Adobe nut because I've been using Adobe for shit like
Yeah. I
forever.
used to work with Adobe Creative until I discovered Clip Studio.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
I use the entire Adobe suite, like everything Adobe
Mhm.
came out with. I use. I mean, and I was using Flash when it was Macromedia, and now it's Adobe, and they don't even really use it anymore. You know what I
no,
mean?
not
So
anymore. That's the thing, is Adobe's sort of the standard. So if you're the guy doing the thing that's not Adobe, then you become a problem, because not everything converts properly. If you're using Inkscape for your logo
Mhm.
design or something, and they try to get it in Illustrator, it doesn't always copy over one for
Right.
one, and then it just causes all sorts of trouble. So they
especially
have
trying to,
that going for them.
especially if you're trying to import something into Illustrator.
Yeah.
I mean, because if you can't tweak it, you're going to have to export it completely as vector and then import it completely as vector, and then you're kind of like crossing your fingers.
One of the fun things I
Yeah.
discovered from Clip Studio Paint is that you can transfer image rendering from Cinema 4D Cinema, like the 3D program for animation.
Mhm.
Like you can actually do a mix of 2D and 3D animation with Clip Studio. It's built for that, and I'm like,
Hmm.
whoa.
That's so cool.
Yep.
I mean, it's wonderful seeing all of this technology, all of these programs, all this stuff that's becoming increasingly more accessible to ever larger groups of people.
Yeah, now that program does both things I love about. I can
Well,
do my comics and I can do animation.
Yeah, as far as that goes, though, I mean, the stronger that our computers get, you know what I mean, and then the better that the programming languages are, you know what I mean. What happens is that you are able to have a lot more go on. I mean, before long, storyboarding will be the act of just dropping in figures and moving their hands and legs
Absolutely.
and
And
dropping in backgrounds and
talking
Yeah.
about animation, to segue,
Mhm.
Battle Brick Road would make a great animation for Netflix.
Yeah,
Well, thank you. We should just get Kyle Ritter to animate it like he did his opening video to Starblades.
Oh, well, I mean, that's the thing, is we've got so much talent in Comicsgate. It's ridiculous. Like right now, I've got Bronson Gorilla is working on a trailer for Six Gun.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't even ask me. I asked him, like, okay, well, how much would you charge for that? Because he did like this really awesome Grindhouse style trailer for Adam Post for a College of the Dead, and he had like the right music and everything, and I was just like, that's badass. Like, I wonder if we could, like, would it be possible for you to do something like that? It looks like a 1970s Italian Western trailer. He's like, yeah, sure. I'm like, okay, well, how much would that set me back? He's like, oh, nothing. I'm just down for CG.
Oh,
What?
nice.
I mean, I'm gonna hook a brother up. Make no mistake about
Well, the
that.
guy that did the music for my trailer did it for free. So, some people just want to get their stuff out there, because within this community, if you're good at something and you can have something on a larger project to sort of get eyeballs, and that'll just help you out in your
Absolutely.
business and all
Yeah,
that.
it's a win-win situation. It's
Mhm.
Exactly.
one. It's also a way of showing support to somebody. Look,
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe in you and I believe in your project. I'm doing something for free for you, and it's also a way of promoting yourself. It's
Another guy who's in the chat, George Peter Gatsis, is working on a Six Gun sculpt.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah, he does 3D modeling, doesn't he?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, he does.
He's also
And-
doing a hauler. He's doing a hauler for Captain Love, which is turning out real good. I can't wait to
Oh,
see.
can't wait to see that, man. You're gonna be, oh god, you're gonna have a big old grin on your face when that thing
Oh man,
arrives.
it's gonna be insane because I mean I told you the first thing we're gonna do is just like a something really simple, squishy, but eventually I'm gonna have an actual like man holding like the hauler in my hand as a toy. You know what I mean? That's
Mhm.
gonna be amazing. That for us super
Ah.
sci-fi nerds, for us guys that do things like collect 30 Millennium Falcons. You know what I mean? Like I got them everywhere. It's like
Got a few, not 30 though.
I got something cooler. I got the Mad Max Interceptor V8.
oh yeah, I got something cooler than that.
Oh shit. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
And I have
Simon,
the
you
battle
win.
damage. And I have the battle
that's
damage.
awesome.
Oh man. I still remember seeing that for the very first time on a muddy videotape in Japanese with no subtitles.
Oh, let's not forget. Wamagwai?
Mogwai! Mogwai!
I have the giant Millennium Falcon, the one that came out in like
Badass.
96, 97.
This is an original 1979 version of the, because they didn't come out in 77 or 78 when the movie
Yeah.
came out. They didn't come out till later. This is 1979, the original toy Millennium Falcon that has the little cockpit and the seat and all that kind of stuff.
Oh,
on it.
wow. That's cherry, dude. How the hell did you get that in that kind of condition? Mine was like all fucked up. I like put little firecrackers and shit to give it like battle damage.
Yeah.
There's Alf.
Alf.
It was created as a
I have an
ripoff of Howard the Duck because the Howard the Duck movie was coming out. What a kick in the ass that is.
I have a little Alf clamped up on my bookshelf over here as well. He's about this big.
It's the classic one when
Sweet.
the series came out. Like I've had it since I've been a kid.
Oh, wow. That's so awesome.
Alf was hella funny. That show was hilarious.
It was
Yeah,
okay.
it was a great show.
It was okay.
So yeah, Battle Brick Road.
Yes, Battle Brick Road. Yeah, we got
Another- another great
Speaking
story.
of Battle Brick Road, we do have this final tier to discuss. This is
Yeah, we
Become
do.
a Citizen of Oz. This is the drawn in as a citizen of Oz.
Yes.
So
Yeah, so 500, you get everything in the 250 tier. So the shirt, the books, the all the bells and whistles, your name in the book, and you get to be drawn into the book, have your likeness as a character, as a citizen of Oz, not a citizen of the outside world. You're the citizen of you're in the inner circle.
would that be the Emerald City, the Inner Circle?
Well, this will be just for this book, and the Emerald City's not in book 1, so they'll probably be in Munchkin Land, our version, which is not Munchkin. It's not Munchkins as you've seen in the movie. So, but yeah, that's our high dollar tier. And what I swear, like the campaign launched May 8th, I think it was May 5th or May 8th. It was a Friday, whatever that calendar math is. And it was like that same weekend. I got all of these jobs, and I've been on all of these shows, and it's just been I've been working nonstop on everything but the book. Outside of doing layouts for the second half of the first chapter, so it's been very almost frustrating. It's been nice because I like coming on here and talking about the show and getting the word out there, but it's like my entire day. I stream in the morning with Vaughn on my YouTube channel, Eric Weathers on YouTube. We do that every morning, and then I letter for about 6 hours, and then it's coming on here and doing streams and promoting, and then it's okay. Well, I still got to turn these pages in, so let me letter some more, and then it's like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm done, and like now I can draw, but also I need to sleep. So
Yeah, you do.
it's sort of the nature. It comes in waves. And this is just a big wave, but thankfully, by Wednesday, tomorrow's Wednesday. By Thursday, that wave will have crashed, and I'll have probably 2 weeks free to just go bananas on getting pages done. So like they're primed and ready to go. They just need to be thrown on the light box and penciled. So
Excellent.
Very cool.
And hey, man, it's busy is good.
yeah.
And I just want to address something that Delta Spurg Force said in the chat. He says, art is so undervalued. Everything is always for exposure free. Please charge for your stuff if you can, people.
Yeah.
Amen. That's why I would never ask for something for free. And Bronson Gorilla and George Peter Gatsis, they're getting something from me. they've offered their services for free, at least when it comes to the actual like creation, the artwork. But y'all need to start like putting your stuff out there and letting CG people know, like, hey, I can make you a badass trailer. Hey, I can make you a cool little figurine.
Well, and that's the thing. Like CG will pay too. So
Yeah.
there's people are willing to help out.
Yeah,
with
because
that
it is
or
a terrible.
pay for good quality. So
Yep. And Eric, I'm sure you probably have some experience with this, with people like asking you to work for free for exposure.
back in the day, yeah, but no, not anymore. Yeah. I always turned them down. So
What? Yeah. Yeah, no, I had a guy who wanted. I'm not going to name any names, but I had a guy who owns an animation studio who wanted the full rights to Six Gun Gorilla. I was like, okay, so like, what are you going to pay me? He was like,
Mm-hmm.
pay you?
Yeah,
I
that's
looked at the
kind of how this
contract.
works, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I found out that he doesn't pay any of his artists. That he doesn't pay anybody, any of the people that produce the actual artwork for his comic books or for his animation studio. It's all for exposure.
No, it's the currency that will kill an artist.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, exposure is important, but it's overrated. And here's the truth of the matter: you never offer anybody a job for exposure. People offer to do
Hell
the
no.
work for exposure.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yep. It's like
Exactly.
you don't ask for a gift, you receive
Right.
a gift.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we got the stretch goals up,
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
you have unlocked the first 3 of them.
Yes. So all stretch goals will go to all backers. So we've got a bookmark and 2 trading cards with Dorothy on one, Dorothy and Toto on one, and Scarecrow on the second. And then we're moving towards getting a patch. I did a patch for Flying Fortress last year, and I had a follow-up survey asking people, hey, what they thought of the book and all this. And one of the questions was, I listed every extra that came in, and it was just like, check all the ones that you liked the most. And the patch was number 1. Not by a long shot, but it was number 1 with, by about 5% or so over like the prints and the postcards and stuff. So it is, patches are more expensive than you might expect, and they can get really expensive if you get different thread colors and you go sort of over the top with them. But I think that if it's what the people want, we're gonna do it. So we're deciding right now is like, do we do a patch that is, again, it's that four thing that we're talking about earlier. So there's the 4 watchers. We could each one could have their own little patch that they have, or each of the characters. Dorothy and Toto have one, and Lion and Scarecrow and Tin Man. We'll iron that out as we get closer to that. But I'm going to be working on sketches to figure out what direction we want to go with it, because having the banners of these sort of witches makes sense, and I like that you can have an icon for an entity that you can see something and know, oh, that's the good one, that's the bad one, stuff like that. I kind of like that iconography.
No, that's very cool. That is very cool. I'm loving what I hear about this book. I can't wait to.
It looks fantastic.
So when do you anticipate? To see, what does it say here for fulfillment date? When do you anticipate?
It's not on there because my schedule is so crazy. As you know, I work on everybody's book, but I've been telling people the plan is to have everything out the door by March of 2021, not 2022. I'm working as hard as I can to crush even that goal. But we've got. I realized this today. We've got CG Con coming up in May, so I damn well better have it done by then. So, but with the way who knew this curveball that life gave the entire world with this pandemic, and that kind of changed a lot of things for a lot of people. Like we were supposed to get Graveyard Shift in March, and then they hit like right as he was sending files to the printer, everything shut down. So I moved printers, and then they shut down, and a lot of stuff. Hopefully, we're past that, but who knows? What if it comes back in the fall and everything? So I want to be able to say
there's no telling what's going to happen, especially since
None.
the economy is in a state of unknown at this point.
right.
Because we're all just assuming that the economy is going to come back, but the truth of the matter is, with the level of unemployment, we're actually in a depression right now.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We've passed a recession. We've actually achieved depression because we've gone longer than a month like this. So it's actually a depression. So if these jobs don't come back, it could dramatically change the landscape. So we just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So backers, we love you. And, we wouldn't be anything without you. And we appreciate you letting us do this stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And those of you who are independently wealthy, back multiple times.
Yes.
Hell
keeps us
yeah.
afloat. Yeah, I like that. That's a good idea. But no, I mean, obviously, I have fulfilled a book. It fulfilled on time. Flying Fortress was supposed to ship in December of 2019, and it did. I'd say 80% of the books went out before the end of the year. And I want to continue to try and be true to those the dates that we set. Obviously, things come up. This is a 2-man operation. Ultimately, I can get somebody to help with pre-press or somebody to help with design, but when it's you're waiting, it's not the well-oiled machine that a monthly comic book can be. But that's not a bad thing, because this is a passion project. You're going to get this. You're talking about being excited about the story that you're writing. I mean, I love this story. This is a fantastic story. I can't wait for everybody to see it and read it. I'm already like, I don't want to do anything else. Like, I just want to continue to make this book, but I have other commitments too. And I'm not saying that as like, I don't want to do them. I want to do those too, because they're going to be awesome.
Right.
So there's just so much excitement around this book and the other books that I know that I've got coming up that, man, I just hope that my excitement carries over into the reader, and that they're on for book 2, 3, and 4. I know that Zeb and I are really just, we can't wait to get it out. Now he's just waiting on me. His part's done. He's written the thing. Now's the long haul, waiting on the artist to get these pages turned in.
That passion is palpable. It's coming off you in heat waves, and there's no way that that's not going to be on the page, and there's no way that that's not going to leap off the page and into the reader.
I hope so. It's always a worry, you want people to get excited by the thing you put out. So
I know.
So the next stretch goal is the patch, and then after that is a Toto Ashcan by 6 a.m. Comics. We discussed that as well.
Yeah, which
will obviously be super cool. And you don't have the 75 and 100 announced yet, so we're not going to hassle you for that.
It's going to fit so well, because his style reminds me so much of Metal Slug. So in there, it's going to be awesome.
And Mark Marianelli, let it be said, one of the top 5 MCs of all time. So he's got that going for him too.
I mean, I can't not vote for the guy if he rapped about me specifically. So he's forever in my heart. Yeah.
We are all. You have no idea how much we bust that guy's balls. How we're like all over him, like white on rice.
If he was in the chat right now, I'm still gonna play his song. But I mean, I usually I can't help like when I see him in there, I have to bust into the
Soy Boy song,
the official Comicsgate song.
It's so great. It's so great.
29 days left. Is that what? Am I reading right?
19.
19.
So bust a move, people. Bust a move.
That's right.
Are you going to go in demand? Yes.
We have plans. I'll say this: our plans don't involve in demand, but you'll understand when those are announced.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Fair enough.
So, quick musical interlude, courtesy of Mark Marinelli.
True love. True can't resist.
Neckbeard so tight, got my glasses just right. Feeling so in my veins, Twitter raging all night. As I tune to my feed, what's this I see? Hashtag Comicsgate, so much controversy. I spit out my tea. This all caps logo is laughing at me. Hop on my steed, I'm chafing in my skinny jeans, but I gotta wait night till the daylight. Daddy working overtime for the soy boy life.
I love it.
Rub it everywhere.
My IOU cut from the big two. Overflow with much. See, my roommates all agree. You need to pay a big diversity. And that indie smoke can't play dog with a man's plane. Can't hold a candle to my Hollywood payday. $20,000, yummy pre-tax cheddar. I'd like to see you in sales, try and do better. Your pages float, your comics are late.
That's just awesome stuff.
That's fantastic. I hadn't heard that before. I like
You're
that a lot.
You're still muted, Brian.
Yeah,
See,
they-
I had to mute myself so that everybody could enjoy the that genius undiluted. I love the part where he's talking about rubbing soil all over his body.
so everybody pretty much discovered Mark Marinelli as 6 a.m. Comics when he was doing those comics characters, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
But when he first put that poster out for everybody to see the first time, he made this song and threw it as a backtrack on the little video that he tweeted out there, right? And as a musician, I was like, okay, this is absolute genius from end
Yes.
to end.
Yes.
He took all these little like inside Comicsgate jokes and plugged them into this, like total fucking slow jam, awesome groove,
Yeah.
And it's hilarious. It's like catchy. If you're not in CJ, you're not going to get it, but it's still cool. You know what I mean? So the man is extremely talented,
Yeah, he is.
and I am proud to call him a friend. So
He's a great guy. He really is. And he was overjoyed and happy to just jump in and say, yes, I will draw that. I will draw that ash can. So we definitely want to get to 50K so I can pay the man for his hard work.
Seriously. And also, we need to get on his case more to like launch his campaign already.
Yeah.
I think Delta Spurgforce was asking if that was Edward. The song itself is 6 a.m. Comics. That's Mark Marinelli.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's called the Soy Boy song or something like that.
And he hates it. He hates it too, Eric. That's the funniest part
Oh,
about
that's
this.
even better. Yeah.
He doesn't hate
hates
it-
that
he doesn't hate it
song.
as much as he hates the fact that we like embarrass him all the time.
I know.
It's like-
Well, there needs to be a video. Somebody get on it and make a video out of that because that shit's classic, right?
Yeah,
there.
you should get. Is it Michael Bancroft that does the animations for the?
yeah, we should get him to
Ooh,
make
there's an
that
idea.
Yeah, he calls the song about a soy. That's the name of it. That's what he named that song. About a soy.
Great.
Oh,
All right, so we've been going an hour and 11 minutes. Let's get this book here is in desperate need of a high count. We need to get this to 50K so we can get that Marinelli ash can going on there. That needs to happen.
We do.
That is a personal goal of mine because Mark's my good friend. So and then Eric is also a new friend. It's I don't. We haven't been on a stream more than once together, so it's
Right.
hard to say you're a good friend, but you're not a bad friend. So,
Well, that's a good place to be, is not being a bad friend.
right. So and then, but you're
We tell
definitely a
Our
friend,
kids don't be bad
and,
friends.
and we'll get to know each other better and I can tell that you're a good guy. I'm sure you'll be a really good friend. So
Well, thank you.
and it's Comicsgate is family.
That's true. Hey,
Michael.
I appreciate you guys having me on. This was a lot of fun.
Thanks for coming on, brother. Thanks
Yeah.
for coming on. And your
it was nice talking
book
to you.
looks legitimately badass, man.
Thank
the
you.
book looks great, and we try to make it. Hey, Michael Bancroft, we were just speaking about you. What the hell?
What's up, Michael?
Hey, brother. We think that if you have the time, which I know you're a busy motherfucker, but the About a Soy song by 6 a.m. Comics that needs a well animated music video in
Yeah, it does.
in your stream. So if you're
Yes,
down for
indeed.
that, you got to let us know so we can make that happen and completely annoy him with it.
Oh, and people back Lucent. Our man Delta Spurg for us. He just posted a link to the campaign. Go check that out. That's an amazing looking book.
Yes, it definitely
Yeah,
is.
that's my preferred, right?
Lucent
Or-
looks super awesome. If you don't back Lucent, you're gonna miss out because that book
Yeah.
looks amazing.
There's
Looks
too
really cool.
many. There's too many awesome looking books in Comicsgate.
I
There's
know
too-
there has been a deluge these past 2 weeks. I squeaked in like perfectly in this window because it was like somebody launched like the week before. Your boy Zach launched the week before,
right.
and then I launched, and then Monday was Kyung Lee and Sean Gordon Murphy's book as well. And then what was it? Friday is when Tug launched his book. Like, it's crazy out there.
It is. It is.
Crazy.
But you see, so many of these books are doing well, and we keep chugging along and onward and upward. And my God, we're killing it so far. It's not even halfway
Yeah.
into the year, and Comicsgate is just like ruling and destroying.
I was
Yeah.
not expecting that. After I was in demand, that I would be almost at 12K now. And
Wow.
I know.
Great. But before
there's only
before I
one.
interrupt you guys like too rudely, we do have Delta Spurg Force asking us to play it again, and since Michael Bancroft missed it, I do want to play this one more time.
It can't hurt. It can't hurt.
You're gonna love it, Michael.
Story.
Neckbeard so tight, got my glasses just right. Feeling so in my veins, Twitter raging all night. As I tune to my feed, what's this I see? Hashtag comments gate, so much controversy. I spit out my tea. This all caps logo is laughing at me. Hop on my seat, I'm chafing in my skinny jeans, but I gotta wait night till the daylight. Daddy working overtime for the soy boy life. Let me cluck, cuck for a buck. My IOU cut from the big two. Overflow with much. See, my roommates all agree. You need to pay a big diversity. In that indie smoke, can't play dog with a man's plane. Can't hold a candle to my Hollywood payday. $20,000, you'll need pre-tax cheddar. I'd like to see you in cells, try and do better. Your pages float, your comics are late.
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
Absolutely beautiful.
It is. It's a work of art, without a doubt.
I have heard it so many times, and I just can't get sick of it.
I
man.
know. I know. So it's like we understand Mark doesn't like it, but Mark, you're wrong.
Yeah, you can be wrong about your own work. Not
Absolutely.
everybody's proud of their own work, but that doesn't matter. It's not his anymore. It's ours.
Exactly. It belongs to the world now.
That's right.
Yeah. So everybody, back Battlepick Road. If you and Eric, it's Eric Weathers on. What's your YouTube?
Yeah. So Eric Weathers on YouTube. Eric_Weathers on Twitter, as you can see right here. And you can back the campaign at battlebrickroad.com. That's the easiest way to
and it's also in the link in the description.
right now.
All right, thank you. Yeah.
Yes, everybody, thank you so much for coming. Definitely back this book. You're going to miss out. Eric needs your support, but at the same time, we want to get this thing to $50,000 so that at minimum, so that we can get the 6 a.m. comics
We need
Ash
that.
can, because that's going to be worth having. Because let me just tell you, that man's a creative genius, and we got a lot of creative geniuses in Comicsgate. And let me just say, no one's even like half the people aren't even have Mark on their radar yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of hidden gems in here.
Yes,
Without a doubt. Oh,
and
and can I just say real quick, I am backer number 513.
Oh, thank you very much.
Oh,
that means
don't thank me. It's a badass looking comic. I don't back anything that don't look badass. And
Well, I appreciate it always. Every backer is always appreciated because we can't do this without these backers. So,
Amen.
Yeah, and tell you what, man, you're just about to push us over.
Yeah, that should push you over, right?
I was gonna say
It might. I think it might just
close.
be
We're
right
getting
on the edge.
close.
Feet are right on the edge. So it takes a minute for updates.
Yeah, I know that. Like ever since they put the delay in the updates in, that's been really annoying.
Yeah, so like the backer count went up. Now you got to wait like 30 seconds before the number goes up, and there's the drum roll, and then the drummer's getting tired because it's still going.
Oh, it was hilarious when we were on RGE's stream, and he was just getting like backer after backer after backer after backer, and it was like the numbers couldn't keep up. We were like trying to push him to certain numbers, and it's there we go, 27,990.
Oh wait,
know,
Michael Bancroft
somebody-
just said I'm going to back. So, and speaking of RGE, I'm going to be on there in an hour or so. Whenever he goes live, I'm going to be on that show tonight too.
Oh, sweet!
fantastic.
I'm actually on there next Tuesday. So
Love
Excellent.
RGE. Love RGE.
Yes.
He's
So
somebody that has been so generous to our community.
in
Yeah,
fact,
I think
you're
it's
going,
one of
you're going
those,
over there. We'll have to drop a link in the chat. Somebody, somebody grab a link to where the RGE's channel and drop a link so that anybody who doesn't know where that's at, or I guess I could do it, but I'm hooked in the show. Somebody else do it. I gave you guys wrenches.
All right, I think Michael Bancroft pushing us over the edge into 28K because we just went up to 495. So,
Oh hell yeah!
that drummer's getting tired again on this refresh here.
I know.
It's there. You don't have a perk under $10, so he's definitely going there.
Yep. You know, it's funny. Like sometimes you get a refund, and refunds are fine. You know, people need a refund for whatever reason. You know, they,
Mhm.
you know, got to buy groceries or whatever. It's more important than a silly book. But when they do it, like you've crossed into the threshold of the next 1,000, and then you get a refund. You're like, man, I was just there. Come on.
I know. I was like
That
tickling
happened
your ass
twice.
with a feather.
Happened twice. It's like,
Yeah.
you're
Just
killing
want to
it.
say hey to one of my good friends since I was 9 years old, Tony Goodwin, right there. He's visiting us from Facebook. There we are.
What's up, Tony?
Hey, Tony.
Everybody
Yeah,
that's
he-
following us from Facebook, definitely
There we go.
smash that like button, smash that subscribe. And
we at least got you over 28 into the show. So there you go.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Michael. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you.
AKA Drew Love, and Sim. Guys, it has been a pleasure. Thank you very much. 28K, only $7,000 away from the patch, inching
Yes.
us ever closer.
Getting a little bit closer. We got time, but we don't need to let it drag. You know, this definitely needs to happen. And thank you, Delta Spurg Force, for getting that link in there. I knew I gave you a wrench I knew I gave you a wrench with good intentions. So I don't know. I'm babbling. It's been a long day. Let me tell you guys. I've
I'll probably be babbling on the next stream. That's for sure.
All right, we're gonna sign off now. Everybody, thank you so much. Make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, and subscribe to Eric Weathers on YouTube. He
I'd
does a
just like
show
to
every
say
morning.
one thing. 1 week left to join the Blood Hunt because it's closing in 1 week.
Oh,
Yes.
get in there.
Get
Yes,
on
get-
that,
get on-
people.
Get in on the Blood Hunt. Back Six Gun Gorilla also while you're at it. While there's still
Captain
time.
Love.
Yes, and I would appreciate it if you would back Captain Love. If you have not got the book yet, you can get the first book still in demand. If you have already got that book, you can get the variant of that done by Vinny Tartamella of the same first book, or you can also just contribute to the cause and become an executive producer and sit there and get 7 books over a period of time. I'm doing something new on my campaign that nobody is done in CG yet, and it's basically create a subscription model for a book. I'm going to do 6 chapters. Each chapter will be shipped individually, and then they'll all be compiled into a graphic novel, and then that will also be shipped. You can get those all on one perk, or you can buy them individually on the campaigns because I'm going to do 7 campaigns. So
Home Skillet is a innovator.
But yeah, so that's it. So we're gonna sign off and make sure you back Battle Brick Road. This book's gonna be awesome.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
you cannot beat the concept. I mean, basically a classic like Wizard of Oz with some really interesting violent twists. So
Yeah.
Get on it now.
Get
All right,
on it.
Get
we're-
down on
Hey.
it. Get down on it.
thank you so much for coming, everybody. Don't forget to subscribe.
So hit the road, Jack.
Bye.